Hey everyone, we're about to hop into our first adventure of the evening, which I've entitled The Clock. Before we do so, we're going to take a brief moment, as always, and introduce our heroes. So without further ado, our first adventure tonight is Fawkes' Sake. Fawkes' Sakes, the swords that cuts the heavens, one true king. How are you tonight, Fawkes?
Oh, hey, I've been pretty busy and gotten pretty bored. Just been doing a lot lately.
Yeah, I know that these are demanding times, so to speak, but I hope it's interesting how sometimes being busy can also come along with being bored. That's a kind of a funny combo, but it's
Yeah,
certainly also relatable.
everything sort of turned monotonous, from trends and destroying the depths of hell or
Yeah,
preventing interdimensional breaches and all these things.
such is the burden of the responsibility that comes with power, I suppose.
Yeah, been trying to swap every now and then, but in the end, it's just all like doing much of the same thing.
Well, Fox, I'm sorry that things have been a little bit I'm sorry that things have been a little bit stressful for you as of late, but I hope that maybe today's adventure will give you the chance to change paces a bit.
Oh, it's not really stressful. It's just sort of you lose purpose and you don't really see what's the point of it all sometimes.
Um, I hope that you're able to find clarity either way, Fox, and to rediscover that. But maybe that opportunity will present itself soon. But it's again, I'm sorry not
One
maybe doing the best, Fox, but I'm glad that you're here with us again.
great.
We have Zewxip with us. I am. How you doing, Zewxip?
Fantastic. My energy levels continue to swell and grow. I feel as if I'm on the precipice of something. Something. I don't know how to explain it, but something big is going to happen.
That's it's very interesting. You don't have any particular idea about what this, but you just have this instinct, Zewxip.
Yes, instinct, I believe, might be the right word. Just something. My being is on the verge of something. It's a type of growth. I believe that non-Florins might experience something similar. But yes, something will be happening soon, and I'm very eager to understand what it.
Zewxip, that's a. I mean, I have my own idea of suspicions, although I can't necessarily share those all here. But I think that you should trust that instinct. I think you're right, and maybe prepare yourself for any new challenges that you might come across, because there could be some on the horizon, Zewxip. But you didn't hear that from me.
Hear what from who?
Of course. And Zewxip, as always, it's a pleasure having you adventure here. Welcome back. Next, we have Ideal joining us as well. The sharp tongue, the Lord of the Gilded Rose. How's it going, Ideal?
It's going quite well, thank you.
Ideal, if I remember correctly, you've been asked before by Bartholomew, because of course you're being called to Bartholomew's shop with to help him specifically with something. He had a couple of requests. You did the beta testing for the box, if I remember. Am I correct about that? One of Bartholomew's training training mechanisms?
Yes, that is correct.
I believe he's called you today to do some beta testing for a brand new training environment that he's putting together. Do you has Bartholomew asked you to do a lot of these? Have you done many of these training simulations and things in your kind of downtime?
You could say that.
um, I have another question. When Bartholomew asked you to do so, were you reluctant? Were you reluctant based on previous experiences, or were you just kind of ready to take on whatever challenge you had?
My experience with the box has left me to question some of Bartholomew's choices when it comes to training.
We'll see if he's learned anything.
Considering, though, I guess I can see it from his point of view that it's simple enough to simply bring us back, but if something should go wrong, but I prefer not to die. It is not pleasant.
Oh dear. Well, we'll see if he's learned anything from that feedback that I think you gave him originally as well. Ideal, it's wonderful to have you with us again.
It's good to be here.
And of course, last but not least, we have Sword Coheir with us once more.
Howdy.
How you holding up, Sword?
About the same as always.
Any no particular developments? Any new alchemy experiments you've been working on?
Yeah, but I don't want to quite get into the details of it right.
Yeah, I understand that. Were you in the beta test for the box Sword back in the day? I can't remember if you were part of that.
No, I was not.
Fawkes, were you? Perhaps not. Anyway, Sword.
What is the box?
Okay, I'll assume that is that you were not in the beta test on that one. In that case, Sword, it is lovely to have you back with us as always, and I'm glad to hear that you're keeping on. So let's hop in without further ado. You stand in Bartholomew's shop. He greets the four of you as you enter, as he generally does. Greetings, adventurers. How are all of you today?
Same as always.
I'm freezing cold.
Sorry, I have to chill some of the thing in here. I have the air conditioning sort of blasting over here because a lot of the adventurers just want to take a brief reprieve from the heat. And if you have them up high when you enter, it kind of gives you that kick that makes you think I'm spending more money on it than I am. I can try. I can turn them down for you in a moment if you'd like.
No, it's fine. I've just returned from the. Sorry, I'm really cold.
Could I get you a cup of hot tea or something like that? Something to warm yourself?
Sure, that'd be lovely.
Bartholomew hands you over a cup of tea. It's just a very nice jasmine that you see. He walks into the back. He actually brews it. He doesn't conjure it. You see him actually put the water on and make the tea, which he usually doesn't do. So
wonderful.
And he kind of comes back to you. I was hoping I could ask the four of you for your help today. I put together a new sort of a training device for newer hires here in Bartholomew's shop, and I wanted some of our more competent adventurers to test it out and see what if they are able to handle it.
Okay, but if it's for new adventurers, maybe.
Perhaps having lower level adventurers test it out.
Well, see,
would be appropriate.
Yes, well, I discussed that with you last time, Ideal. Your feedback was very valuable for the box that I put together, and that was well, it turned out that you thought the difficulty on that was maybe a bit high. So I thought, well, definitely this time I don't want to test out something that might be too difficult on someone unready for it. So I thought, why not bring in the pros again?
Well, let's just hope it nothing goes wrong.
That is the hope. If you wouldn't mind joining me over in the testing chamber, when all of you are ready.
Perhaps something less combat-based.
Sure.
Yes.
Would be best for lower-level adventurers.
Well, combat, I feel, is easy to scale down.
Yes, I've been putting together a system that I call it a challenge rating, but I'm not entirely sure that it works completely. But that is a whole discussion for another day. But for now, he kind of makes a door on the right side of the room, just appear into existence. And he goes, "For now, if you could join me here in the testing chamber, I have to will give you the item for the test." And he pops into that kind of next room over on the side, and you see it's he just has kind of like a store closet here, and it looks kind of like this is where he does a lot of his workshopping. Like you can see a couple of like traces. I think all of you see like a couple of like discarded versions of like unfinished versions of your Bartholomew's choices that are kind of tossed in the corner. Fawkes, you can see like just a very you see like it's almost a parallel version of the sword that cuts the heavens that Bartholomew must have found somewhere over here. There's different pieces of different projects, but Bartholomew goes over to his workbench where he has on it a very simple clock. It doesn't look like a full kind of 12-hour clock. It looks like it's divided just down into it looks like it's just one section where it's 60 minutes, like it goes up by 5, 10, 15, 20 rather than the 12 number notation. And Bartholomew kind of hands it over to you. It goes, "All right, so this is going to be the item. I called it, that's what the kind of the name for this first one is called, the clock. I'll just need you all to head into that room there. We'll sort of put together the illusory testing environment, and the rules of the test are actually quite simple. You just need to live until the clock runs out. You simply wind the clock, and at any time you can rewind it to just go ahead and start over if you'd like."
Do we all need to pass this time trial?
Oh yes. Well, per the recommendations of Ideal last time, if any of you die, you have to get through with all of you alive. Is one of the keys.
Ideally. Ideal.
Yes. Well, I don't
Sorry,
think
this tea's a little funny. Is this some of that laughing tea you had?
I feel like I don't feel like he understood my recommendation, but I think that's a conversation for another day.
Are you sure it wasn't? I'm near certain that this was the feedback, correct?
It's fine. We can discuss it more later.
Okay, well, I will need you to sign these waivers. And Bartholomew hands out a round of waivers.
I thought this was already covered in their contract.
Oh no, this is a whole nother thing. And Bartholomew hands out a round of contracts. And he goes, these, of course, you have your negative adventuring contracts. If you'd like, I guess we could also, I usually try and keep the beta testing separate, but if you'd like, we can just go on your standard commission. I'm just going to pay you standard commission anyway. Yes, whenever you're ready, just go ahead and sign those, and bring the clock with you that I've handed you there, and enter that final chamber. Well, the rest is for you to figure out upon your way.
I don't think our regular adventuring contract covers beta testing.
That's what these are for.
Yes.
Bartholomew, this at least reminds me of something I heard from another adventurer. I don't suppose you have a monster called a Quaggoth in a tube somewhere?
Oh, that is a wonderful question. I'm familiar with the Quaggoth. I don't necessarily know the... yes, I know the Quaggoth. I can conjure one if you would like.
No, from what I've understood, they're terribly boring creatures.
Yes, a very simple one. A very simple creature. They just kind of like hang around in swamps or the Underdark or something. I'm not overly familiar with them. I feel like they'd be a lot more interesting if they were just a lot tougher. Do you know what I mean?
Mm.
Well, anyway, this is all aside the point.
Yeah, that's fine.
And Bartholomew kind of
Ideal goes ahead and signs.
Yeah, you sign away, and after having a couple of probably painful flashbacks, and
Yes,
Bartholomew.
real quick, Bartholomew. Right here, it says, I'm giving you my soul, but I've kind of already promised that to another demon. The abyss. So do you mind if I, like, give you, like, an IOU or something?
Yes, it's just a formality. That you don't actually need to. You don't need to be worried about that. The odds of collection on that are essentially zero. So.
Right.
Um, and yes, so we will. I'll just take those back. And Bartholomew kind of grabs the contracts. Did you all sign them just kind of normally, or did you any of you try to do anything? Try to pull anything?
No.
Yes, one of my monikers.
Is perhaps a fox snakes?
Yeah. Oh, I'll just leave it to him to deal with. Whatever,
Okay.
it's good.
And Bartholomew hands. Which one of you would like the clock? He said that was kind of the key piece of the key item.
I'll take it.
Yeah, so he hands it over to you, Zewxip, and he goes, "All right, just step into that chamber, and we can properly begin." And
I'm going to pass out a biscuit to my 3 friends also, and their max HP increases by 5.
Excellent. Each of you gain 5 maximum hit points as per the aid spell. Yeah, Bartholomew goes, "I just need to go and kind of set up some of the controls in the other room, so at your leave." And Bartholomew turns and exits. Yeah, the chamber is before you. You can see that the space before you, it's just a very simple, the room just seems to be made from a very smooth, polished white stone, perfectly kind of square room. Yeah, that's all that you see. As the 4 of you kind of hop into there and walk in, the door behind you just sort of vanishes, and then slowly from the floor, kind of darkness starts to kind of like seep into the walls. It looks like illusory shadow that's falling in, and as it just starts to kind of like fill the room like water almost, to the point where it rises up. It doesn't have any like substance to it, as you can feel yourself pushing through it. It moves away at your touch, but it doesn't feel like any weight. And eventually it kind of moves up above your heads, kind of covering your eyes, and you just find yourself in complete opaque darkness. And after a moment, you hear Bartholomew's voice speak out. "All right, the test will begin now." And that darkness vanishes, and you just find all of yourselves sitting in a forest. It's just a very kind of pleasant. It's just a very pleasant forest. Some birds are chirping. It's a nice afternoon, and you can see that the clock that you're holding, Zewxip, it was started at 60, and it's now just kind of ticking down very quickly from 60. And it looks like this clock has an hour of time on it that you need to survive until it runs out.
Okay. So we must just stay alive.
Yeah, that was the instruction of the test.
Does it remind any of you of Fromblet and what we went through this past autumn?
Oh, you mean with the illusion?
Yeah.
Nearly. This type of thing happens regularly to me.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's no...
You guys find yourself, you look in, you take in some of the surroundings. The area that you're in, like I said, it's a pretty heavily forested area. There's some birds. The sky above is clear. It's a nice day outside. What do you guys begin to do as you're just kind of coming into this space? Are you like walking around and looking around the area, or are you just kind of hanging, or what?
Ideal just sits down on the ground, choosing not to move.
Fair enough. Is that kind of the tack that everyone's taking right now? As you just are adjusting? Because I mean, it's definitely it's obvious that Bartholomew has something in mind right now. Are you guys just all kind of going to wait it out?
I go over next. Go ahead.
Aid in or perform perception.
Okay. Zewxip, you want to go ahead and make me a perception check to look around? Critical.
Oh
Oh
my
my goodness. All right, so you begin taking in the space. You're kind of like, are you like wandering about the forest, or are you just like looking right where you began, right where you were kind of conjured into existence?
Yeah, we're going to set a perimeter here, especially if one of my teammates is putting down roots, something I very well understand. We got to know our own grove before we can.
Okay, so you're walking around the space, and the illusion that you're obviously in right now, as you're kind of moving around and observing it, it becomes clear to you that it has a boundary, and you get the sense of that boundary as you're looking on, because you're just walking and there are just sections of just like there's sections if you go deeper into the forest, like behind you from where you were facing when you entered, there are just like brambles and this whole like thicket of twigs and vines that are kind of difficult to go on. Just it looks like it would just be a nightmare to proceed through. And as you're kind of peering through it, you can almost see like, oh, that's like it's almost like a painted backdrop of sky that you're looking at, where it's just kind of just moving in the distance and it's not real. And so you kind of get, for one thing, the sense that this illusion that it's carved out for you is in a very large sort of dome, and that at the center of that dome is this great kind of rocky kind of touched hill in places, and with a natural 20, you also notice that as you're kind of looking around at some of those bramble thorns and such, you find a sleeping figure that is kind of just sleeping amongst one of those piles of bramble thorns. They look like they are passed out, maybe a little bit drunk. There's a flask next to them, and they appear to be a kobold. And they are tucked in a way that they were like very, very hidden. But you just barely managed to catch like the slightest glint of light from that flask.
Okay, I will point out the kobold and also say that if we're going to be defending ourselves, we should go to the top of the hill over yonder, as that's going to be an easier to defend location.
And all of this, you know, it takes maybe like, I would say 10 minutes for you to do all this, to take in the space, to look around. So you guys only have to survive for 50 more minutes now. Ideal, Sword, Fawkes, what are the rest of you guys doing as Zewxip's running recon here?
Well, that's what I was going to do, is kind of go walk up to where I saw the wall originally, just to see if we had a boundary. And you kind of confirmed everything I just...
Yeah, so Sword, I imagine that you were also walking alongside of Zewxip, kind of looking... Zewxip just rolled a natural 20, so you learned everything. But I imagine that you were also, during this time, just walking with Zewxip, kind of taking some of this in, too.
As a gamer, no. I believe like Fox States would be trying to find any like indiscrepancies in the illusion or things that you could take advantage of. Maybe like a glitch or some sort of...
Interesting. Go ahead and make just an investigation check, I think.
Okay.
18. All right, yeah. You're looking around. The illusion doesn't have... I mean... there aren't really cracks in the illusion for you to, like, you know, quote unquote glitch through, if that's what you're hoping to do. You are looking around at like the I mean, there's like the thorns which look pretty nasty, that maybe you could like corner an enemy into is a thought that you're having. You're looking over at the ground in some places as you're observing it. It just like you're getting like really close and just like tapping around, I imagine, just trying to find weaknesses. And there's some like cracks in the ground, almost, and cracks is the wrong word, more like seams.
Okay.
Where it looks like it's divided into like sections almost, but that's about the best piece of information I think that you can learn with just thorough investigation of just the space without any more specific details to go on.
Yeah, Fawkes is just doing some like weird actions, like pouring water to see how like the mechanics will work in the illusion, or like swinging
Beautiful water,
swords, or if
beautiful
like
water
the
physics.
attack time it's weird. Yeah.
Basically, it just looks like water, really. Ideal's just kind of hanging. Anything else that you guys want to do? Is this just kind of how you spend the next chunk of time, or are you just kind of hanging out until something happens, or staying vigilant? Anything else specific you want to do?
We could try to hide. No?
I'd like to fortify the hill.
Okay. You go over and in what way are you going to fortify the hill?
I can move earth to start creating little pits and build up. Not really like a wall necessarily, but if the hill is getting narrower towards the top, if I scoop sections of earth out, it'll create kind of like a wall / ramp, and then kind of an inadvertent pit. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely. So you begin kind of creating this bunker up on the top of the hill. You don't have to roll for that. The earth here, I mean, it's loose earth and stone and stuff. You're able to create yourself, really what you described. You begin hunkering down. But again, it's just, it's very calm here. And as you're moving earth, Zewxip, you find that on top of the hill, as you're creating these bunkers, you hit a point where, like, you actually aren't able to, like, dig down any deeper. Like, in the same way that those thorns seem to mark the edge of the illusion before, there's, like, a point where once you go deep enough, the illusion won't let you dig any deeper into the top of this hill.
Interesting.
But you are able to create a bunker here.
My mind will wander back to our illusory horror of last year, and also even prior to that, there was a sandcastle building competition that I was a part of. So I'm going to try and draw on what I learned in that sandcastle adventure to make a little.
Cool. Yeah. You kind of work on that, and Sword, Fawkes, Ideal. Are you just maintaining your firm stance upon the ground?
Ideal is.
Ideal's just kind of like waiting it out.
Speak for yourself. Now I'll be sitting up in the tree, I guess. Chill.
All right, and Sword. Go ahead and make me a stealth check, Fawkes.
Cool. I'm wonderful at this. 1.
Yep. All right, yeah, you're in a tree. You're in one. That's definitely true. Sword, you also hiding, or what's your kind of thing? You helping a little bit with the.
I'll look around and like just gather some like brush and branches and stuff to kind of add to the bunker.
Okay, yeah.
Stealth aspect.
Stealth it out a little bit, certainly. Why don't Zewxip and Sword, both of you make me survival checks with advantage to kind of 1, build the bunker, and 2, to camouflage it a little bit. Your 2. Well, you have advantage on this, Zewxip, as I said.
Oh, whoop. Oh, I wonder why it's not rolling twice. Maybe something got adjusted, but I'll roll again here.
Okay, so a 23 and a 20. Yeah, the bunker's solid, and it's very well hidden with swords. Camouflage that he puts over it, and all said and done, kind of going through and doing all of this, another, like, maybe half an hour passes. It's been like 40 minutes now, and there's been basically no activity. Only kind of 20 minutes left to your goal. And the first kind of thing happens here. You see staggering out of the woods and walking forward. You see this Ideal, you're kind of further back in the woods, so you don't necessarily see this. Everyone else who's kind of stealth up does. This kobold begins walking forward, and Zewxip, you recognize this as the kobold you saw before. They begin staggering up and over towards the hill, and as they get up there, they are walking like right towards your bunker, and then they stop, and they just kind of lean on a boulder that's placed here on the hill, and you hear them just kind of call into it. Traps! And kind of a little bit drunk, and then he kind of goes, hey! Hey! He kind of whacks on the boulder a couple times, and he goes, I said traps! Oh. Hello? And he just starts kind of like whacking that boulder a bunch of times. And he seems to be getting pretty frustrated. He goes at this and just kind of shouting at this boulder for maybe 5 minutes until he eventually just slumps down on it in size and just looks very frustrated.
We could like move the boulder for him.
Well, right now you guys are all stealthed. Actually, and as he slumps down the boulder, he looks over and sees you just kind of sitting. I forgot that you rolled a 1, not a 14. He looks over and sees you just kind of parked up in a tree, Fawkes, just your armor glistening in the distance, and you just hear him go, "Oh no, we're under attack!" And he starts kind of just running away, completely not noticing the bunker on top of the hill, and just jogging off into the woods.
Cool.
I just love how he completely ignores Ideal, who's not even hiding.
Yeah, well, Ideal's just it's deeper in the forest. It's like on the forest edge, and more further back.
Yeah.
So it seems like the secret password is traps or something. And there's definitely a hidden kobold nest.
Was that in common or draconic?
He was speaking in common. And another like that all was about 5 minutes. Do you guys react? Do you guys do anything with this kobold, or you just kind of let him run away?
Well, let him run away.
And
Hold up.
Oh, what do you want to do?
Okay. Let me Butter. He's too far away, right? Like, how far is? Or is he like right under my tree?
He runs when he sees you. He runs in such a way as to run away from you, like he's running into the forest at an angle that is not moving closer to you.
But how far was he when he saw me?
From like the hill to where you're parked. I mean, like 150 feet or so.
Oh my god, it's far. I think I will just let him leave then. There's like no point in trying to chase him.
You just let him go, and he runs off. And as time's just kind of continuing on here, you all feel the ground starting to like. You feel some like earthquakes and some shaking beneath your feet. And at about 5 minutes remaining on the clock, things definitely start to change in a more significant way. That shaking and those earthquakes kind of pick up. You can feel like the rattling in your bunker, and the ground begins to split in places. Fawkes, you can see like some of those seams that you were noticing in the ground before. You can see where the ground like comes apart and breaks at those points, like it was designed to just kind of get compartmented into these like big chunks, and from underneath you, in particularly Zewxip and Ideal, you two just hear kind of deep beneath you just a and I would like both of you to make me dexterity saving throws.
Me and Ideal?
I'm sorry, you and Zewxip. Ooh.
Okay, so
Ideal, you're far enough back that you wouldn't be affected by this. You're hanging in the woods.
Ideal's just making A flower crown.
From the ground beneath you, Zewxip, you are just thrown to the side, and like cast down onto the ground. Sword, you are tossed up into the air and then moved back, but you remain standing on your feet as the hill that you're on just explodes suddenly, and from within it, you see just this terrible-looking skeletal dragon that kind of emerges from it and just lets out this ghastly, surrounded by this purple and dark energy. And as they do, this a creature calls out, "Gilvax, the unconquerable has been risen! All the world shall now bend to my will." And as he does that, his mouth just kind of breathes outward. You watch as this incredible wave of necrotic energy reaches, just kind of passes out through the mouth of what appears to be this very large Draco Lich in an arc around them. And it just moves through the forest. The ground continues to tremor and break in places with more and more licks of this energy pushing up through. And as this wave of energy passes forward, it just destroys and desiccates all of the trees in the region. And each of you suffer 40 points of necrotic damage from this first action. And Gilvax the Unconquerable has suddenly appeared from beneath this hill. What would you all like to do?
Wouldn't I only take 20 from my
Necrotic resistance.
yeah, if you have resistance to necrotic damage, then you would only take 20.
Yeah. Great idea, Bartholomew. Low-level Dracula. Classic.
Yeah, the Draco Lich just kind of roars outwards. If you would like to roll for initiative, you may do so. If you do not wish to do so, then you may take some other action. But
And during this downtime, would it have been possible for us to make some kind of a hand signal where if the party's like, no, rewind, like we kind of frantically make a circle with our finger or something to signal? If not, that's fine. It was something that came to mind, but
yeah, I can say that you have done this.
Okay.
If you're gonna roll for initiative against Gilvax, though, Gilvax rolled a 6. You can see the ground around you is just further kind of like fracking and fragmenting. The first to act in this instance is you, Fawkes 6. What do you want to do?
Wonderful. I'm going to stand up on my little tree branch, which has barely survived the necrotic explosion.
It's withered and it's just it's like bending under your weight, but it's holding on.
Yeah, it's like falling down. I'll just step off onto the ground and I will flare up using Radiant Soul, the Aasimar feature, and go full glowy with shooting lights out of my eyes, and use my bonus action to start playing that battle music that we got going.
All right, you begin your full battle stance. Your wings fan out. The music begins to play, and I think that's all for your turn, right?
Yeah.
That's going to move us over to Sword, this creature. Sword, you're further up the hill, and you kind of didn't get knocked backwards by this.
He's right in front of me.
Yeah, he's right in front of you. This creature is colossal in size. They are basically taking up the whole size of this hill. You can see that in the wake of the hill, where it's been exploded outward, you can look down and see within the hill, and it looks like the inside of this thing is hollow, and you can see what looks like just elaborate series of tunnels and caves that have all been revealed in here. And beyond just the cave systems that are down here, it also looks like there are tables and just furniture and stuff that have also been just cast asunder in the inside of this hollow mountain that is now visible to you. You can see also maybe what looks like just a bunch of kobold bodies that are kind of strewn about the ground. Yeah, what do you want to do, Sword?
Like, am I directly in front of him or under him?
You are looking, I mean, you're far underneath him. Grilvax is absolutely massive, but you're, like, adjacent, technically. What do you want to do? What's the play?
In that case, I am going to cast, where is it? There it is. Bestow Curse.
Alright, Grilvax is going to make a wisdom saving throw, which they do. So with, okay, that's a 24.
Doesn't work.
So that's going to succeed, yeah. Anything else on your turn, Sword?
I am going to kind of slide down. Is it just a complete drop off into the?
If you want to go into like the hillside.
Yeah, I mean,
you could fall down into it. I would let you make an acrobatics check to kind of like slide some of the natural tunnels if you want to like land in the space.
But I wouldn't like talking about going all the way down. I mean, just kind of like getting a little bit of cover underneath.
I mean, there's like rocks and rubble. Yeah, if you want to move, you could position yourself in such a way that you have cover.
Yeah, I think I'll do that.
All right. And at the end of your turn, they're going to make a legendary action and make a tail attack against... actually, they're going to make a tail attack against you, but they'll have disadvantage because you took cover. And so this is... it's going to be a tail attack against you. That's a 24 to hit, Sword. Oh, sorry, a 32 to hit. For 21 bludgeoning damage. As the tail whips around and you feel it just smack into you, a crisp hit as Grilvax the Uncomfortable just roars out. You will be the first of many to die in my pursuit of the world. And that's all for that legendary action as we pass next to Ideal. Ideal, you're far back in the forest. You see a giant and you're no longer in a position. You can now see everything that's happening because the trees have all withered around you, and you felt this wave of necrotic energy pass. What do you want to do, Ideal?
Ideal yells out, "Who awakened the Dragon Witch?" And I guess let's see. He is going to. Can he see the Draco Witch?
Yeah, they're pretty far away at this point, but you can see them.
Like, how far away are they?
Like a couple 100 feet, I would say. Because you were kind of parked backwards.
Yeah. I'm gonna just use Eldritch Blast on it, since that is the only tech I have that can hit it.
Fire away.
2 beams. And boop. Boop.
19 is going to hit, 18 is not. Go ahead and roll damage on that first one. 11 points of force damage. The Eldritch Blast strikes into like the skeletal hide and kind of like decaying flesh of this blue dragon. You can still see some of the blue dragon scales on Grilvax's form. And I mean, it strikes, but Grilvax is obviously a very powerful entity. But you did hit and deal 11 damage. But they kind of shrug it off. As we move next in initiative 2. I'm sorry, do you have a bonus action? I apologize.
I'd probably use... As a bonus action, I'll use Fire Step, and then to move closer to my allies. Didn't mean to do that.
You zip in closer to your allies, getting kind of up into the fray proper. As now we move in initiative to Zewxip. Zewxip, what would you like to do? This Draco Lich kind of leans over and looks at you, who's prone on the ground. And actually, at the end of their turn, they're going to use another legendary action to make a claw attack against you. That's a critical miss at 16. So they miss, and you see the claws break into the ground and just tear apart the earth underneath where you are. What would you like to do, Zewxip?
Ooh. Well, first I'm going to release a little bit of water.
Yeah.
And and then I believe that I am going to... There we go. I'm going to pull out Wand of the One, and I'm going to use the tuber eyelet that was gifted to me by Yukon Gold.
Yes.
So a bunch of tuber florins grow out around me, and then I will actually use my action to take a dodge.
Okay. And you kind of grip yourself down into place and get ready to dodge. And the what happens to him when you do the tuber thing?
Nothing happens to him, but I cannot be forced to move against my will, and I have advantage on saving throws against effects that would knock me prone.
Very well. And you right yourself, and that's going to bring us now to Grillvax's turn. And Grillvax is going to rear around and look towards Ideal. I think it would make sense that you wouldn't necessarily move immediately next to your ally. Gonna look to you, Fawkes Sakes. I would like you to make me a dexterity saving throw, Fawkes Sakes.
Oh, no. Yeah.
As they're going to use their lightning breath on you.
Is it not rolling? Oh, there you go. DC 20.
Oh, nice. You pull off. You're going to take half of that, so you're going to take 20. You're going to take 29 points of damage. Got it in 3. And as Grillvax...
And I'm resistant.
Courses out, and a terrible bolt of lightning flies towards you, and then Grillvax kind of turns around and just kind of crashes both hands into the ground and slams, and you watch as from the erupted earth more pulses of this terrible necrotic energy course upwards, and another 20. You all take another just 20 points of necrotic damage. No save for it. It just happens. And Grillvax just kind of roars up this seemingly insurmountable foe as we move next towards you, Fawkes.
All right. As he lands down and throws up a bunch of dust in the air, I'll step through the debris, raising my sword in the air, shining bright light, and causing rots to float and my hair to grow longer and glow. And I will use the special feature of my sword that cuts the heavens to allow me to use 2 buffs on myself as an action. So with that, I'll cast Sacred Weapon. That causes my sword to whoosh in flames, the radiance, and I will heal myself for, let's see, 35. So that brings me back up.
Very well. You heal yourself for a whole bunch. Your sword lights up with these fiery, holy flames. And that's going to bring us next to Sword. What would you like to do?
Oh, that was just my action. Now here's my bonus action. Yeah. I will cast... I'll cast Divine Fate.
Okay. You're just stacking all the buffs on yourself, getting ready. Let's move next to Sword. What would you like to do, Sword?
For starters, I'm going to cast Mass Healing Word on it.
All right. Go ahead and roll it.
19.
19. You heal everyone for 19. As a bonus action, you still have a regular action. What would you like to do with that?
I'm going to use Radiant Soul on myself.
All right. You also, your Aasimar wings fly out behind you as you gain a flying speed. Is there anything else on your turn?
No, I'm still going to remain in cover until my next turn.
That's going to bring us to Ideal. Ideal, you move into the fray.
Yeah, Ideal's gonna go toward Zeus.
Ideal, you fly over to Zewxip, or far step, I imagine, over to Zewxip.
Yeah.
Teleporting instantly, because you can do that every turn like a badass. All right, you're over next to Zewxip.
I think now would be a good time to use the clock, the item we were given. Unless you
Agreed.
think you could defeat that thing. We can defeat that thing.
Think that I can keep myself together. So no, I can't defeat.
Zewxip, the turn is yours. What would you like to do?
My hand-like simulants are going to manipulate the clock, and you already up.
And it resets. And you guys are just hanging out in the forest, right where you were. Ideal. You're back in a very familiar spot where you just sat for
For almost an hour.
Minutes. Yeah, 55 minutes precisely. And here you are. The challenge is renewed. What do you all want to do?
Well, first off, does that reset our magic and everything?
You are all at full spell slots and full abilities.
Nice.
Alright.
Max health match.
So,
Oh, I could have had him.
Survival could just
we
simply
all had
mean
to. I will remind you that Bartholomew said we all had to survive. So,
Right.
who summoned the Draco Lich?
Wasn't me.
perhaps the kobolds under the hill. They all seem to have suffered and died. We know the password to get in. Maybe we can prevent the summoning of this Dracolich if we were to pretend to be kobolds, and there may still be some alive to let us in.
Sounds like a plan.
Probably all died due to that explosion. They were right under the hill.
Well, by the time that one was knocking, it sounded like there's no response.
Yes.
They might be sacrificing whatever ritual to summon the Dracolich right now.
Then perhaps we should disrupt said ritual
Yeah.
before they enact it.
They may not have even summoned it. They may have just stumbled upon a seal and broke it by accident.
And just for
It already existed before, so.
now that we've reached this point, by the way, for the ease of moving through this adventure, at any time, you guys can go to any point that you've been at before if you want to, like, be at a point in time where you know that something's going to happen. So, like, if you want to just be at Grilvax again, you could just, like, all right, we wait till we reset the thing, we go until Grilvax comes out. Like, so just keep that in mind, just for the ease of us working through this.
This is an interesting problem-solving adventure.
I say we go ahead. I'd say we go ahead, use the password to open up that door. If one of them pops out, we grab him and knock him unconscious, and go in and stop whatever.
Honestly, if we prepared, I feel as though we could take on Grilvax, but I don't think that would be useful data for the low-level adventurers.
Yes, I feel like taking out the kobolds before they can summon Grilvax is probably the best choice of action. I mean,
Especially
if we were
for low-level adventurers.
Well, remember,
No way. There's no way they'd be able to survive that initial eruption. They'd have to prevent.
yes, we have to keep in mind that low-level adventurers are supposed to be able to solve this.
Thinking
Not die.
about it, though, if we go in guns blazing, we may set off whatever's caused him to be summoned, or whatever awoken him.
Well, perhaps we should interrogate the one kobold that was not in the kobold's home.
Yes, they're in the brambles.
I have the spell charm person. We could make him believe we're allies and see if he knows anything about the Dracolich.
Information is powerful.
So you guys want to go over to the sleeping kobold where you had found them before? Zewxip?
Yep.
Yep.
All right, yeah. You see this kobold? They're just, like I said, snoring away in kind of a little bit of a drunken slumber.
I'm gonna cast Charm Person on it.
The kobold is gonna make this regular kobold is gonna make a wisdom saving throw. Kobolds are very wise. That's a 14. Oh wow, you did really good. That's a 14.
Yep.
All right, you cast Charm Person on this kobold, and as you kind of charm them, I imagine like the verbal components of that spell sort of wake them up and just ow, hi.
Hello there.
It's good. It's good to see you again. It's been so long. What? I can't remember your name. What? I feel like
You don't remember the friend of your good pal ideal. For shame.
Yeah, it's so good to see you all again.
Yes, it is very good to see you as well. We heard
out here. It's been so long.
We
want a drink? And he holds up his flask. Yeah.
Maybe later. We heard about the name Gilvax the what was it? Gilvax the Unconquerable. Do you know anything about that?
Oh yeah, that's where we live.
What?
Live?
You live at Gilvax the Unconquerable.
Oh well, I mean that's what the stories say at least. Yeah, that's you've been in our. I mean, you have to have been over my house at some point before. Yeah, that's what all those big kind of cross beams and stuff that are in the tunnels that we use. Those are actually bones, apparently at least. They say that this was this old dragon's like burial mound or something. I think they kind of exaggerate it for the stories and stuff.
Oh, so
makes a great support structure for a tunnel, though.
Yes, I imagine it does.
What about any of you? Any of you want a drink?
Yeah.
Passes the flask around. Hands it over to you, Fawkes.
All right, I'll have a sip.
It's absolute swill. Tastes like it was brewed in a toilet. But it is definitely alcohol and it is definitely strong.
I taste light toilet airs.
Well, that's a little bit mean, but we're such old friends, me and Ideal, that I'll let it slide this time.
You know, perhaps you should take us to your home. I mean, like, it has been too long since I've last seen it.
Yeah. Well, I was kind of taking a day off because I was kind of like maybe I got fired from my usual job. Okay, I don't make a persuasion check to see if he's very like he doesn't seem to like the idea of going back, but
all right, persuasion.
But for you, he walks up and he starts walking over towards the rock. Come on, all of you, I'll bring you in. And he goes over towards that rock where he was before, and as he gets there, he kind of knocks on it a couple times, and he just goes, traps! And the rock kind of, there's a couple of like sounds and some motions, and the rock pulls back, and you can see two kobolds that kind of greet him, and he goes, they kind of greet him, and they go, so you back already? And they look past and they see the four of you there with this guy, and they both kind of freeze and immediately like grab spears and brandish them towards you.
We're with him.
They kind of one of them kind of looks back and goes, looks at their kobold brethren and go, traitor! And one of them throws a spear at him.
So you wanted to play a game of stabby? I'm down.
And the other one's gonna throw a spear. I think at you, Fawkes 6. That's a 10 and a 12. The 10, Fawkes 6. I assume a 10 does not hit you.
No.
That's a 12 against the other kobold, though, who does get hit and does die. You watch as the javelin hits him through the stomach, and that kobold collapses over.
My.
How many were at the door again?
Can you repeat the question? I'm sorry.
How many kobolds were there behind the...
There's two kobolds here guarding.
Okay.
And our kobold friend is now dead.
Their kobold friend is now dead. They did not seem to think of this person that much as a friend. It looked like.
Well,
That would be nice
was-
to
he
cast healing.
well, he was useful for a little bit, but
He kind of stands back up and he goes, "I saw my whole life flash before my eyes." He kind of looks around and goes, "How I thought we were." Yeah, what do you guys do about these two kobolds? They're like, they watch the spear just clink off of your armor, Fawkes sakes, and you see them like readying slings, but they're also looking a little bit like nervous, like, I don't know if these slings are gonna cut it against these guys.
I'll pull out 366 gold, and I'll like put it down in front of me.
They kind of, as you you're just putting it on the ground.
Yeah.
As you put it down there, they kind of like stop spinning around their slings, and they kind of slowly let their slings drop to their side, and then they like look down at the gold, and they look back up at you. They look down at the gold, they look back up at you. One of them like takes one coin very slowly, and like
So who wants some drinks?
they put the coin in their pocket and look at you with like a raised eyebrow, like, was what I just did okay?
Of course it was okay. We're all friends here.
They both start just like greedily fighting over this pile of gold right here.
I'm like dishing out more gold, 509.
Yeah, they're like scrapping at each other, trying to like pile it into their own like meager kind of clothing that they're wearing. They're like pulling their shirts up and kind of curling them into like little saddles to like fit more gold. And the two of them, like, once they've both got it as much as they can carry, they're kind of bickering as they try and like run past you and out, just like abandoning this place with all of this gold.
All right, that distracted them. I was just like throwing it out of my pockets.
Yeah.
What's your name? What was the
name?
name? What was the name of the guy that got us in here? Did we ask?
The kobold? No, you never.
Yeah.
asked his name.
Okay, I'll call him Flasky because that's how we recognize him.
I do have a name, but Flasky's fine for my good friends. Call me whatever you want.
Okay, what about Toilet Punch? No.
If it has to be that, then there has to be that. He's still under the.
What is your name?
Spell. I's Gum Gum.
Gum Gum. All right, Gum Gum. Do you mind if we have a look around here in case there's like some sort of
Oh
evil
no!
stuff going on?
I mean, honestly, I wasn't all that crazy about you guys when I first saw you. There's like a moment where I thought, oh, well, there's people that don't belong here, but I don't know. You're just old friends. And then one of my old friends, they kind of killed me with a javelin. So I don't know. I'm not really all that big on them right now. You guys can do whatever you want, as far as I'm concerned.
By the way, what was your job?
Before?
Yeah.
Well, I used to be a servant for the Tunnel Lord.
The tunnel.
Where do I find this Tunnel Lord?
Oh, down the tunnel, and points. There's the tunnel before you seems to curve and twist in narrow corridors down the interior of this hill, and you can see now, like, for one thing, Zewxip, you're noticing, like, you're pretty sure that you were digging into some of the top of these tunnels when you were hitting the edge of the illusion before, and that was what was preventing you. And you can see that the tunnel is like intercarved in places with these huge old dragon bones. Yeah, how do you all want to proceed?
You roll a D1000.
Yeah, that should gather their attention enough to break our fall if we end up.
I can jump down the tunnel.
Yeah, you can go ahead and hop down the tunnel. It's not like this tunnel isn't like just a narrow like falling downwards. It's like sloped. It's designed to be like walked through.
Oh.
So yeah, I'm sorry. I guess that wasn't clear enough. It's like a horizontal tunnel that kind of twists and slowly bends downwards, not just like a vertical straight drop downwards.
Can we slide down the tunnel?
If you fashion yourself a makeshift sled, you can absolutely slide down the tunnel if you would like to do so, Ideal.
Did we already see the dragon bones?
I get my shield.
Yeah, they're just, like I said, they're just kind of interspersed in places. And like, it seems like the right wall at one point appears to maybe be like one of the, I don't know my biology well enough to start naming bones, but one of like the upper arm bones that you can kind of see making out of it. At one point, there's a tunnel wall that kind of curves around, like it might have been part of a wing at one point. The bones are forming some of the support beams and structure for this thing.
What if we just steal all of his bones?
The lich, he just reform.
Damn.
And that's some of the discussion that you're having as you're working your way through. Eventually you're able to hear up ahead the chattering of a large number of voices. Ideal, did you slide down the tunnel? Did you find some kind of sled?
Trying to see if I can make a sled, but can I find one? Wait, I have my shield.
Yeah, that's good enough.
I'll just use my shield.
For style. You watch as Ideal just kind of in a kind of oddly giddy moment hops on the shield and just kind of almost surfs down the inside of this tunnel, getting a little bit ahead of you guys. Ideal, as you're kind of like rounding corridors, there's some like much smaller little sections as part of like the wardens down here, where you imagine like you would have to be kobold sides and to kind of like crawl through into what you imagine are like living spaces for different kobolds, but you're following this main thoroughfare, which eventually leads to a very large double door, and you can hear voices behind it. Currently, that large door is closed. You could just like crash through and into the hall if you wanted, or you could stop before you got to it. Up to you.
I'll try to stop it.
All right. I would like you to make me a dexterity saving throw for your ability on this, for your ability to control the sled. If you have another skill that you think would be relevant, you can supplement it if you would like.
Sled handling.
Yeah, sled handling. If you have proficiency in land vehicles, for example, I would count that.
I do not, I believe. So it'll just be.
Yeah, make a dex save.
Yeah.
You're like, all right, time to slow it up, and you kind of turn the shield to the side, and you see that here at the bottom, towards the end of this tunnel, it's the most worn from foot traffic, and you just kind of crash through. You guys who are a little bit further back hear the sound up ahead, and as you do crash through, you can see you emerge into what appears to be a feasting hall, where there are hundreds of kobolds in here that are just kind of gathering around and like talking and drinking and laughing, and they're just having, well, what appears to be some kind of kobold feast, and it's violent, it's rowdy. People are throwing food across different ways. Almost immediately to your right, as you come in here, you see one kobold kind of pointing and laughing at another one, and then he just takes a sling stone to the head and falls over unconscious. And as you walk in, the space is, or crash in, is a better way of putting it. You do take 2 bludgeoning damage, but the space is so rowdy that only like a couple of kobolds that are near the door really even seem to pay a lot of attention to you. The other folks, Zewxip, Sword, Fawkes, you guys see Ideal kind of like standing. I imagine there's like a little bit of a stunned moment as you're waiting for the comeuppance, and then everything's fine.
I'm sliding in right behind.
All right.
'Cause I feel too, and I thought about that first.
Yeah, you're also going to do a sledding check. Well, you don't have to do a check because you're just a little bit further behind, so you have no door to contend with. You slide in comfortably, pop up next to Ideal. The space is well, as I described it, chaotic, busy. People are starting to notice you, like as moments are kind of ticking by. People are starting to notice. Gum Gum kind of looks over at Zewxip and Fawkes, who are a little further back, and goes, "Welcome to our home. Here we are."
Could I use Divine Sense?
You go ahead and make me a. Go ahead and make me a. Well, you just do it. That's what happens. I was trying to remember what Divine Sense was. I was like, oh, perception check? No, you just do that. What's the area on that?
Let's see. 60 feet.
You find, for one thing, you stand on desecrated ground. Decidedly, this whole space is desecrated. Much to these kobolds don't necessarily seem to be aware of that, but there's just a terrible, just undead stink about this place. You're also detecting the presence of, it's not necessarily an undead, but you're getting some kind of ping coming from a behind you, actually, one of the small sort of kobold warrens that you went by.
Ooh. Guys, it smells in here. I'm not talking about the kobolds. A lot of undead, desecrated ground. I'm getting like some sort of tingly feeling from this warren that we. Could I like, what is this kobold warren?
It's just like, in terms of visually describing it, it's just like a very small tunnel that a kobold would have to like crawl through, that's cut into the ground. Peering down into it, it opens up into like a small kind of den. There's a lot of these in different spaces along the walls and places, and it looks like, you know, there's probably a kobold that it's probably just like little kobold rooms, essentially. These are people's actual like sleeping quarters and stuff.
Is it just that one in particular that was like?
Yeah, there's one in particular that kind of got your attention.
I'll immediately like go start walking to there, even though I'm interested in like, the feast that they're having.
Okay. You get down there. Are you guys hearing the music twice for some reason? Is that coming through?
It's probably coming through me. I'm sorry.
Oh. Yeah, if you don't mind, just throw on push to talk. Anyway, so Fawkes, you go over to this one warren, and you kind of poke your head. Like, it's small enough that you have to like bend down and just like stick your head a little bit into it to look through. You'd have to have some way to like move further in to actually observe the inside of the space, or to either shrink down or to get eyes in there, or because it's too small. I guess you could also just like try and tear it apart if you wanted, but.
I'll like step back a little bit and like ask Zewxip if he could help out.
Got an idea. Hey, Gum Gum, put these on. I hand Gum Gum my tinted lenses, so he won't get blinded for what I'm about to do.
Gum Gum kind of like takes the glasses and goes, "Oh wow, these are really." And then you do the thing that you do. What do you do?
I grab a small pebble off the ground and cast the light cantrip and throw it.
You take a small pebble and I imagine you just like chuck it along like one of the center tables, and as it rolls.
I'm gonna just try that little hovel so it won't, so we can see what's going on in there. Where that.
You're throwing that into the warren. I thought you were throwing it into
whatever that warren is up to, you know, it'll give us a chance to like surprise and.
Okay, you toss that stone into the warren, and as you do so, there is no real immediate response. It doesn't look like there's anyone in it right now. It's unoccupied right now. Because you know that if there was a kobold in there, they would have been kind of blinded by it.
Yeah.
And even kind of Gum through the shades is kind of like, whoa, that's wow, these are great. And further on into the feasting hall, Ideal, what have you been doing this time? In the feasting hall, have you just been kind of like chilling there?
Yeah.
Okay, slowly, as you're just kind of standing there, more and more kobolds are starting to like take notice of you, and very slowly, there is a hush that seems to be falling over the feasting hall here, as the various kobolds therein are just kind of like, oh wow, there's an outsider here, and that wave of silence is starting to, like, at first it was very slight as one or two, and now it's starting to spread throughout the entire hall. Zewxip, what are you doing?
Unless I'm needed specifically for some kind of assistance, I was planning on helping to intermingle with the locals here.
Oh, I was asking if you could check out the warrant since it was too small for us to like crawl into.
Oh. Yeah, it's lit up, right? It has a glowing.
And Sword just tossed a glowing rock within.
Do you wish to investigate it? I can shrink you down.
If that works, sure, but I'm not sure if I'm comfortable with shrinking down.
There's no discomfort.
Let me go.
All right, do the sword.
Very well. I will reduce. I will cast the reduce part of enlarge reduce. And then
yeah, absolutely.
go to the. So I'll cast that, and I'll walk back to the feasting hall and hand out a couple plush.
Yeah, and kobolds, as they're kind of like bickering and eating and drinking and celebrating, as you're handing out plushies, they kind of stop and they're kind of basically the general vibe is, hey, thanks for that, and then they double take and look back at you, and they're just kind of in stunned silence, confused about what this plant creature is doing down here. Sword, shrunk down, you're climbing into this space, and through the inside of the area, you're able to see a number of very sinister looking materials in here, and those items that you're looking at, there's like a tome, and it's written in what appears to be abyssal, and it very clearly denotes and shows like arcane symbols and like sigils on it. You can see on one side of the room there's a very large you recognize an alchemy set. You're familiar with a lot of this as someone who practices it, and someone here was doing some kind of alchemical experiment, brewing something, creating something. You're not sure what it was, but you can see some of the residue of that here. And this is decidedly the den of a kobold that is into some less than savory stuff. Meanwhile, Ideal and Zewxip, as you're kind of commingling with the kobolds in the warren, in the feasting hall, the whole space has now fallen silent, and the Tunnel King here up ahead, the Tunnel Lord, who you can see is kind of raised up on a platform that's made from some of the smaller bones, and the throne itself made from some of the smaller bones of presumably Grillvax, is kind of looking down at you, and he kind of calls out to the two of you.
What are you outsiders doing here in our tunnels?
In Draconic, as I bear some credentials, given my sorceress heritage here. In Draconic, I'll reply, we understood that you were having a wonderful party and wanted to come and meet other people who appreciate dragons. There can never be too many of us.
Go ahead and make me a persuasion check. He seems to like trust your intent. You get the impression, but he kind of turns to you and he goes,
Why did the guards not notify me of the arrival of one so benevolent towards our dragon kin?
It was to be a surprise, and they seemed to accommodate that. As you can see, I've handed out gifts to the others, gifts that have been passed along as from one dragon appreciator to another.
And he kind of looks forward and he goes,
And what gift have you brought the Tunnel Lord?
Oh, well, I'm glad that you asked. It is our goal to perhaps one day take on the form of a dragon. And it just so happens that I have something that may be able to help achieve that form.
And I have this woven plushie for you.
So you walk up together, and this is what you're presenting as a wyvern plushie.
Yes.
And what does this do? Doesn't this like let him become a dragon, or what become a wyvern, or is that what it does?
What? No.
I don't know what the wyvern plushie does.
It you can throw it. You throw it and it can poison people.
Oh. You hand him over the wyvern plushie, and kind of with Zewxip's words and your kind of gift, he kind of looks it over and he goes,
A fitting gift for the Lord of all Tunnels, to be closer to my ancestors.
and you see him kind of, as he's holding on to it, he goes, this will be a and you see him begin to cough and sort of foam at the mouth in places, and the tunnel lord, as he's holding this plushie, he kind of like just lets it fall from his hands and begins like grasping at his throat, and you watch as the tunnel lord just kind of falls backwards and slumps into his chair. As he does so, you begin to notice around you, Zewxip and Ideal, basically all of the kobolds in this space are starting to like cough and sputter as well, and basically everyone in this feasting hall is starting to like keel over with these sudden like fits of choking and coughing.
Medic!
You call out medic, but just around you, hundreds of kobolds are just suddenly just falling and dying here. What do you do to start to happen?
I hear the commotion, and I rush back after swiping materials and destroying things in that room, just to make sure that nothing's nothing can be used by our whoever's up to mischief here.
And as you come back into the chamber hearing the commotion, all of you are now seeing where all of these kobolds have kind of died and started to fall. Symbols are beginning to appear and like eldritch runes on the ground around you, and you start to see just like wisps of what look like silvery kind of lit smoke almost that are rising out of the forms of these fallen kobolds, and you see it like suffusing and beginning to like pass into the bones that are animated and like placed in various places around this chamber. A lot of it's kind of moving up towards that bone throne, and the ground around you is beginning to rattle. And you realize you're getting near to the end of the time. You look at it, and there's about 7 or 8 minutes left.
Roll the clock back.
What point? Do we...
10 minutes.
2 minutes?
10.
10?
1-0.
Yep.
You bring it back. Every time you bring the clock back, it's just basically just hits a reset button, so it brings you back to the very beginning. So just tell me where you want to go to, and we'll just be there. As you guys stand now, and I think just for the purposes of your discussion, you stand now back in the forest outside of the kobold den. What do you all want to do? Or not outside the kobold den, just in the forest where you first arrived.
So someone or something killed these kobolds, and I guess used it as a ritual to summon the Draco.
Oh, I was muted. Could I, by the time we go back to the kobold den, try to cast poison disease? Detect poison disease?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Was any of their stuff poisoned?
So do you want to just slap back to that point?
Yeah, real quick. It seems like, yeah.
You can actually, we'll just say that you guys go through, get to that point again. You detect poison disease. Basically, all of the kobolds are drinking what appears to be poisoned drinks.
All right. Let's ask. Gum, did you poison all your friends before you left? Or what was his name?
Very quickly, you guys go back and you charm Gum. The charm just works because it did the first time, so it would work the second time. And so you're kind of talking to Gum again, and he goes, "Oh, did I poison my friend? No, why would I do something like that? I mean, I was upset at getting fired, but I mean, not that bad. I just am gonna have to, find a new job."
Could we ask when the party started?
Who was preparing the drinks? Or who took over your job?
Well, I don't know who took over for me. Some new guy. Honestly, I think he was talking bad about me.
Do you know who lived in this really creepy room?
That's the server's room. That used to be my room, but I got, kicked out of it.
Which one's the server?
Which kobold?
Yeah.
He kind of is this are you talking to Gum while you're in the feasting hall where everyone's kind of partying?
I suppose.
He's kind of looking around and goes,
I don't see them anywhere, actually.
Okay.
I mean, there's a few servers, but to work right for the Tunnel Lord, it's a very honored position.
If we ask any of the kobold party people, would they answer what time the party started?
Yeah, it's been going on for. I mean, you get the impression that it's not been going on that long. They started maybe 10-20 minutes before you got here the first time. So you think if you just rushed there, you could get there before things really kicked off.
Okay. We could stop the party and try to purify food and drink.
Before we do that, though, Gum, where do they store the drinks?
We have a lardery and all sorts of. I mean, we have our larder,
and he tells you where they keep all the alcohol and the food and storage and stuff.
All right, I think we can use this to our advantage.
Yeah. If I just swap my spells around to purify the food.
You take this. You take a whole short rest, basically going down to the right up to the point where he is to swap spells, and that's a whole loop. You've done the loop 10 times. I feel at this point. If we're just Groundhog Day, fast forward through things.
Once if we're too late, it's I'll try get party, bring out the disco drift globe, blind everyone, and and watch them all die.
There's one loop, I imagine, where you guys just kind of party, but then you come back around again. So what is the situation where do you want to go that you have not been yet? And at what timing, basically? Are you guys trying to go before the feast starts? Is that your goal?
Well, does anyone else have any plans? Because I wanted to try to purify the food before the feast starts.
Yeah, we can try that, or else we just
Yeah, we can
destroy
try
the
that.
alcohol before they have a chance to drink it.
And really, we
Might
should
even-
try to find the. We should try to find the evil eye
Yeah.
as well.
All right,
The water.
you guys go into the cave. You overcome the 2 guards with gold as you did the first time, and kind of creep your way down. You're just outside the feasting hall, and before where it was like just kind of raucous partying that you heard behind the door. This time it is just kind of quiet conversation that you hear on the other side of the door. As it looks like basically the kobolds seem to be gathered here, but they haven't like kicked up into actual celebration yet. You curve off to the left, where on one of the loops you had learned about the location of the larder from Mug. I'm sorry, Gum. I said his name backwards. There are huge like barrels of wine and things here.
That's our guy. That's the guy who's evil. It's Gum backwards.
Mug.
Polar opposites.
You're in the larder. And as you kind of detect poison disease, you can tell that, yep, all of the wine here has been poisoned.
Can I purify it?
How does purify food and drink work?
Alright. No one ever uses it, so that's why I really wanted to...
First time that I've ever seen someone successfully use purify food and drink.
All non-magical food and drink within a 5-foot radius sphere centered on a point of your choice within range is purified and rendered free of poison and disease.
Excellent. All right.
It's a ritual. Cast in 10 1 action, range 10 feet, level 1.
I assume
So
you're
I could
casting
cast
it not as a ritual, but just as an action.
Well, if I can stop everyone, I could ritual cast it, but you might as well action cast it, and it's still level 1 spell, so I can cast it multiple times.
Okay, yeah. So you go through and go to all of the wine barrels that are in this space, and you purify food and drink on all of them. And as you do so, I mean, the wine barrels are gone. What do you guys do after that? Do you just like go into the feasting hall? Do you try and like become friends with the king again? Like, what's the next course of action that you guys collectively take?
Let's find Mug.
Well, while they're doing that, I'm going to go raid the room again and make sure. Well, not only to see if we can catch him, but just destroy anything or find proof that there's wrongdoing.
I'll cast reduce dice to same as before.
Yeah. I mean, go and looking in the room again. You don't see anything. You don't see anything that you didn't see the first time. I mean, he doesn't. He's not in the room. Whoever the culprit is during this time, it's just all of his stuff that you detect here. But yeah, not anything different there. Yeah. Do you guys go into the feasting hall? Do you just hang out and wait in like the? You just hang out and wait in the storage room? Like, what are you guys? Where are you guys?
Can we try to find him?
Yeah.
Eventually, if you guys are waiting in the storage room, you watch as like 9 or 10 kobolds all come into the space and begin picking up barrels. Like they're working them in groups of 2, and they begin kind of moving them out and carrying them into the feasting hall beyond. This is not very long after you poison them, but yeah, there's like 9 or 10 kobolds here.
No, someone else poisoned them. We purified them.
Did I say poison? Yeah.
Yeah.
My apologies.
On a normal adventure, that's what we would normally do, right?
Normally it'd be poisoning, but today you've purified food and drink. So yeah, there's like 9 or 10 kobolds that are coming in here and taking these barrels and getting ready to, serve all the kobolds in the chamber.
I'll try to ask around for the new server. Like, has anyone seen them? Because that's usually my approach.
As you all come into the chamber here, and these kobolds are entering, Mugmug goes, "Hey guys, hey everyone.
Gum.
Yep, Gum Gum. I'm all over the place now. I've gotten Mug in my brain. Gum Gum kind of looks, hey guys, it's good to see you. And they all kind of look over and they go, you know you're not supposed to be back here, Gum Gum. We're all much happier working for Mug. And as they kind of say that, they kind of look past at the four of you, and they go, you've brought intruders into the den? And these kobolds seem significantly more refined than most of the other ones. And they kind of look at you, and some of them begin to like scramble and move away.
Like roll my eyes like the 50th time at this point.
Yeah, it's happened a lot of times.
I'll flashbang them with a disco drift globe.
With a what?
A disco drift globe.
You throw your disco drift globe on the ground, casting light throughout the space. I mean, they all are kind of like dazed and blinded for a moment as they're looking around.
Daylight.
Yeah, they're confused and blinded for a brief moment. You guys have a moment of distraction here. Well, I mean, what do you guys want to do?
Dance.
Lock him in the larder.
All right, yeah, you lock all the servers in the larder, and
then we carry the barrels out and serve at the party.
I'll provide distraction.
Okay. Zewxip and Ideal, do you guys do your same routine with the king to like get into his good graces?
Yeah.
Yeah.
In like full disco clothes.
So you guys begin. Sword and Fawkes, you're just in full disco. Are you just blinding kobolds everywhere, Fawkes?
Yeah.
Everyone in the space is kind of like, oh no, get that guy out of here, as they're all just kind of like turning their heads away from this. Sword, you're going around and like serving the wine at places, and Dendary, can you mute again? Just
Yeah.
it's coming. The music's coming through again on your thing. And the king looks to you, Zewxip, as you've just finished your speech, and he goes, yes, this is a very fitting gift. And this time, as he kind of like takes a swig from the cup, and that Sword has served for them, and kind of looks back to you, looks back to you, Zewxip, and well, of course, you'll be welcome here amongst our feast. As a fellow appreciator of dragon, come and have a drink. And kind of pours one for you as well. Join the festivities. We're just about to get things started. Yeah.
Late.
I've seen you die 1,000 times.
You whisper, and you see him kind of like look over, like, huh? A little bit like, confused, but just kind of like, what was that in the wind? And time passes, and it gets to be around the time where the ground starts to shake, but no kobolds are dying and falling over in pain. And as that's not happening, you can see out of the out of kind of like a warren that's over towards the back, where you've occasionally seen like bits of food, like prepared food, come out and brought. You can see a kobold that comes out dressed in slightly finer clothes than most of the other like serving kobolds, and he kind of looks over the space in something of dismay, and kind of walks tentatively over the over to the king and goes,
Has the wine been served yet, my tunnel lord?
The king kind of looks back and goes,
Yes, we got it. It was very good, very good.
And the kobold kind of looks back.
Yes, so you have been drinking. Everyone's
enjoying themselves to their kind of stops and passes over you, Zewxip. Who are you?
I am Zewxip,
Ah,
a fellow appreciator of dragon.
what is an outsider? And the tunnel worker speaks up. This is a friend, an appreciator of dragons. There are about 4 minutes on the clock at this point.
Also, no longer outside. I am inside.
Yeah, you're outside. Right now, the king kind of goes, Mug, bring me another, will you? And Mug kind of goes, yes, right away, my lord. And kind of steps away, just looking around very confused. About 3 minutes on the clock. What do all of you do?
Tunnel.
I'm currently.
Go ahead.
Get ready to cast Purify again.
Oh, sorry, it was nothing. It was just something stupid. I'm currently on the 4th route of the on the 4th run of the harem routes in my Kobold dating simulator.
You've broken a lot of Kobold hearts and found a lot of Kobold love over the many routes of this looping journey. But you see, Mugmug comes back goes back into the tunnel and emerges with this time just a bottle of alcohol that he pulls out from like that tunnel section, and it's definitely not one of the ones from the back room. And as he's looking around confused, he just says, "Yes, drink this, my lord. I think there was something wrong with that other batch," and hands it to the king.
Slap that shit.
Sword.
Blessing, my lord.
And what do you say?
To your health.
Mugmug, can I have a mug of that as well?
Oh, you should have some as well, Mugmug.
And Mugmug kind of goes, "No, I'm not necessarily thirsty at the moment." And as they say that, the king kind of
cast Purify you.
I was gonna say the Tunnel Lord kind of speaks up and goes, "No, Mugmug, of course you work very hard. Have a drink." And you see as Mugmug very kind of nervously tips back, seeing that none of his other poisons have worked. He just kind of assumes that this is fine, so he takes kind of like a swig of it tentatively. He goes, "Very good." And with 2 minutes on the clock, everyone stops and watches Mugmug begin to kind of seize over and kind of froth at the mouth and collapse as every other drop of alcohol in the space is completely fine. And you watch as Mugmug falls down, a single wisp of silvery gray smoke floats up into the bones up above, and you watch as one of the big bones on the ceiling kind of rattles for like half a second and then falls still. And you see the king just kind of looks over and goes, "Wow, that was very strange. I'll need to find a new server." And the clock at this point ticks to 30 seconds. Do you guys have any last acts you take before you have seized victory in Bartholomew's test?
I'll push for Gum Gum.
Go ahead and make me just a quick persuasion check for Gum Gum.
Of course.
See if you can. 16. Gum Gum kind of looks down a little bit sheepishly, and what is everyone else doing in these last 30 seconds? Final act in the
I would like him to have a job too. I will cast Enlarge on Gum Gum so that everyone can see how big and strong he is and how wonderful and loyal a servant.
Wonderful. Ideal?
Take it back and enjoy an alcohol.
Fair enough. You just pour
I
yourself
give him a taste just to make him look cool.
a nice non-poison drink. Sword, you add to the beauty of Gum Gum, and as Gum Gum stands before the Tunnel Lord, he kind of looks down at him. He goes, "I never realized how big and strong you were, Gum Gum, or how shiny and, well, just brilliant with magic. Well, since Mugmug just died, I guess." Gum Gum throws his hands up in the air in victory, and the clock ticks and everything just freezes in place. And before long, the walls just kind of bleed into darkness, and you find yourself standing once more in the room. And as you guys come out, Bartholomew kind of pokes his head in and he goes, "All right, so what did all of you think you did it? For one thing, thank you very much for beta testing the clock. How was your experience with it?"
I feel like most people won't pass the.
Yeah, Draco Lich was a bit much.
I wanted like big impact, because it's not unless you have that like showmanship and fear inducing. You think it was too much on the Draco Lich?
Oh yeah,
That
Lich is fine.
absolutely obliterated everyone if it was
I would
a low ranking.
Give them a chance to actually use the clock.
Yes, most low-level adventurers wouldn't survive the
here's
first go through.
Well, here's the beauty of it, is that Draco Lich, actually, it just does, it always doesn't quite kill you. You see, the damage that it does, that big wave of, like, necrotic life rendering damage, it always just does a lot to scare you, but not enough to actually hurt and bring you down. That's the genius. Although it can just kill you with its big, scary claws. So maybe that's too much. But I know that you were in the first beta test for the cube. How would you say this stack? Improvements? Was it better? Was it more difficult? Was it too...
I feel this was a significant improvement, especially for lower level adventurers, though. I do feel that my only complaint would be the Draco Lich itself, but I feel like it serves. I feel like if the Draco Lich is awakened, it should shortly reset after automatically. That would be my only.
Okay, good note.
I mean, most low-level adventurers wouldn't be able to even fight a Draco Lich.
I'm ready. I accept the criticism. Good notes.
But otherwise, it's. I believe even low-level adventurers could survive this.
Yes. Sword, Zewxip, Fawkes, any thoughts for the beta test? All that now that it's all done.
Well, I did manage to solve the problem with a first level spell that I rarely, if ever, use. So that was neat.
Very good. Any last thoughts, Zewxip or Sword?
No, other than the, like we said, the Lich, Draco Lich, it was rather fine. Perhaps, though, something a little bit lower in the challenge rating.
Maybe a big bug. Okay. I'll think about it next time. And
there's plenty of things out there that could scare the players, the adventurers, not, instill so much terrifying fear into them that, they're just going to give up.
Yes. And, Zewxip? Do you have any notes?
Oh, it was wonderful to be able to resolve it very peacefully, something I strive to do all the time. Though if you believe that it's just the claws that are worrisome that could cause death, may I suggest replacing some sort of claw attack with some kind of a false swipe, and that might just be able to solve the problem.
Just like cut out the ground in front of them. I like that a lot. You know what? I think we're going to go bring this one back, and better. Last time I think it was too. We're getting closer. I think I'm going to find the right training pattern someday. But I again very much appreciate all of your tests, and I do believe I owe each of you a sum of money. He hands each of you 300 Bartholomew bucks, and each of you gain 2 points of experience. Which, Zewxip, is that it for you, or do you have one more?
I'm at 42, so I have one more mythic adventure.
One more. And I would now ask, would any of you like to shop? We can shop very briefly. I went over time, but...
No, not for me.
Going once?
Hold on, let me check.
So we'll be back soon with our second adventure tonight. Thank you all for playing, and we'll see you all very soon.